latest episode of The Ugly Truth. Today, we're talking about some of our firsts. Do you remember the first time that you swore in front of your parents, or when you got your first purse, or when you bought your first CoverGirl Cheekers blush? Well, we did, and so we're sharing all of those stories with you today, plus some hilarious H-Ugly and Awkward Moments of the week. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. For real. Enjoy the show. Welcome to The Ugly Truth. This is episode 493. Ugh. Hello, hello.
It's kind of like a baritone today. Maybe a soprano.
Are you trying to impersonate Garrett from the Zoom class?
No, I'm impersonating someone else. God. Oh, my God. You know, I mean, like I was telling you, the curriculum and the format and the way they're doing it's so much better. But the class that she is in... I can't even be in the room, Jamie. I cannot be in the room. Well, like, what was I doing one day? Oh, no, it was the book that they were reading. I don't know who wrote these children's books, but I was sitting on the couch drinking my coffee, and she's just like, okay, students, open, get your books, Sign of the Beaver. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding?
I know.
I'm like, they have a book called Sign of the Beaver?
Yes, and why do they, you know what? That is someone's sadistic little joke.
Just like, you know, fun with Dick and Jane. I'm
yes.
like, who wrote that? You know?
And why do they keep using beavers? What is the obsession with children's novelists and animating beavers when we all know that the parent... Is this a way to keep the parents involved? I don't understand.
I don't know. And so then I'm just like, you know, I'm like, I'm leaving. And so I got up and started walking away. And she's like, okay. She's like, I want you to draw a picture of the cover and tell me what you see. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm so out of here.
A giant brown beaver.
My friend, I posted that on Facebook, and my friend, he's like, follow-up books include Beaver Meets Dick and or something like that, and I forgot what it was.
Yes,
like, and I'm just like, God, that would be a field day to go back and like read all the books. You know, like it reminds me of Billy Madison. She's just like, okay, students, open your readers to My Friend Fanny, and then Billy Madison starts laughing.
Yes,
she's like, open to page 69. He's like, 69. And all the students, they were in third grade. They just kind of looked at him like
what?
But the teacher stared at him like, shut up.
It's like, look, this is something we have to do. Enough already. It's already bad enough that I feel this way, let alone
But then I think it back, I'm like, James and the Giant Peach. I'm like, really?
Did anyone not see that coming?
I don't know where they came up with these book names, you know?
I legit think that it's adult. I mean, first of all, think about who's artistic and is successful. They're not right. So you know they're
usually very sexual,
right?
beings.
So you know they're writing the stuff going, hey, wait till they read this in second grade.
I mean,
you know?
I thought the Pixar movies that had like the little like jabs or innuendos in the Disney Pixar movies, you know, I'm like, oh, I appreciate the adult humor. This makes these movies bearable, but
right,
just, you know, Olivia bringing home a book that says, you know, I don't know, peach and hot dog or something like that. You know, just like fun with food, peach and hot dog. And I'd be like, what the hell is this?
Everybody loves to eat hot dogs and peaches.
We have to do a diorama. Oh, really? Do you?
It'll be so fun. Yeah.
Fun with toys.
And interestingly, class, all the dads thought it would be a great project to do this year. We're so excited for their involvement.
Oh, God.
They'd be like, yeah, let's do
always
this.
Get involved when it has to do something with like building a robot or something. Actually, okay, so this was really funny.
What?
Ryan and I were talking about school projects. We were talking about the dinosaur one that we did.
I remember that one.
Grade.
Yes.
I used like a box that like paper reams are delivered in.
Yeah, the big one.
Yes.
Well, for a diorama.
Yes. And I mean, we went all out. And when we got there, someone had used a fucking vacuum box. And I'm just like,
what?
I'm like, motherfucker.
Who?
I was so pissed.
Someone one-upped you?
They used a vacuum box. And I'm just like,
Unacceptable.
and I looked around, I'm like, you know their parents did that. And he kind of looked at me like, okay.
You know what I would have done? I would have turned to my son and said, did you tell somebody we were using a paper ream box in this class publicly? Did you tell someone?
What was funny, though, is I'm just like, you know their parents did that. And he kind of looked at me and he's thinking like, Mom, you did mine.
Yeah.
So
I would be more mad that I'm like, did you tell someone we were using a bigger box than a shoebox? And then they went home and then someone's dad went, oh, yeah? And
right?
pulled out the vacuum.
Ryan didn't know what I was doing because every night I was in the kitchen or the dining room working on this, and he was watching TV. And so a couple weeks ago, we were talking about the school projects, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I was so pissed when we got there and saw the vacuum box because I'm like, I worked really hard. I said, we worked really hard. And he started laughing. He's like, you totally did that project. I'm like, I said with my truth. We did it.
You realize now that they have changed the way they assign those projects. So they call them family home projects now, so because they know that parents can't help themselves.
Well, we haven't really gotten any. I mean, Olivia had to do one on the state of California, but she forgot. And so we had to do it like the night before it was due. And she reminded us at like 9:00. So we literally had to use like whatever dry ingredients we had available to us. So we were in the backyard with flashlight finding rocks. And, I think we had like dry red beans.
I hope she got an A.
I don't know what she got. I was just grateful we had enough dry ingredients that were hard that we could glue to the fucking state.
I would have been like, you know what?
That symbolized the Central Valley.
I would have said, you know what? You're really lucky we don't live in Manhattan in a city, or you would be fucked right now.
Yeah, we'd be gluing like pigeon shit and,
God only knows what. Disgusting.
Hypodermic needles and,
this is our state.
And popcorn kernels.
Speaking of completely nothing, my vet has a Facebook page. And so I like it because once a week or maybe once a month, they say, hey, show us our favorite patients. And then you can upload pictures of your dog or cat to their Facebook page.
When you say my vet, to me, I'm thinking veteran. To you, that's veterinarian.
Veterinarian, yes. My one and only vet in my life.
Well, Jamie,
you're
you
right.
have to realize the life that I've lived compared to the life that you've lived.
Okay, veterinarian, and
I'm like, I didn't know you knew a veteran.
I do. I know several. Thank you. But anyway, so I'm like, oh, that's cute. Well, anyway, the other day it's National Rainbow Bridge Day. Please post photos of your beloved pets that have come and gone over the Rainbow Bridge. And I was like, oh, that's sweet. It gives a chance for people to, post pictures of their loved kitties and puppies that have died. And so I start scrolling through to see all of the dogs and cats because I just like, I like pictures like that. So I'm looking through and I'm like,
did one person have like 15?
A lady posted like 5 in a row. And I'm like, dude.
How old was the lady?
Old.
Okay, because I'm like, do we have like a potential psychopath on our hands?
I thought that at first,
where like the cats are like decapitated or missing an arm.
No, they were all
like
dogs.
That.
Yeah, they were all. What are those pretty dogs? They're tall and thin and they look like supermodels.
Greyhounds.
Yeah, but they have long hair. I don't know what they're called.
Oh,
anyway, Afghan whips or something. Anyway.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Afghan Wigs. I'm like,
that's
I saw
a band.
Them in concert. I'm like, they opened for Aerosmith.
They're really good. Yeah. So
actually, I didn't like them, but
anyway. So she posted like 3 or 4 in a row. I was like, damn, I'm like, I think they said just post a photo, but whatever. So a couple people did that, and so I'd say halfway through, somebody posted a picture of their cat, and it said, "I lost this cat." 3 years ago, and it was a guy, and he goes, and there isn't a day that goes by that I don't think of her. I miss her so much. And then another guy posted a picture of this most hilarious little terrier, those terriers that have the really small faces. He was there was one in As Good as It Gets. I think his name was
Landon?
Kind of, but his name was Marcel, and they have these teeny little faces that have a lot of personality. It's a type of terrier. I don't know what kind it is.
Oh, wait, is it like are they kind of like the scraggly looking ones?
No, they're super short. Their little beards are very clean cut. Sometimes they have a little Fu Manchu if it gets outgrown, but they're like a mixture between a pug and a terrier. Anyway.
Ugh.
Somebody posted a picture of one, and the dog he looked like an old man. He had so much personality in his face, and he's like, this was the love of our lives. We miss him. It's been 9 years, and there's never been a dog like him. I started crying.
Why do you say that like it's shocking, Jamie?
Well, because I was going through it going, oh, this is cute, all these photos. And then I started reading what they were saying about the dogs. And if you've ever had a special critter in your life, you know that they're not kidding. They're like, this was literally the best animal we've ever found in our lives, and it's been a decade and they still stand by that statement. That's pretty impressive.
I'll never understand the concept. Like, I think the Rainbow Bridge idea is cute. I know it's for closure. I know it's for like the imagination and you know, to like all that stuff.
Absolutely. It's a source of comfort. It's a poem.
I get it. And so I allow it.
Well, thank God for all of us.
Well, I'm just saying it helps the kids, and
sure,
you know, I guess it does kind of bring peace of mind. B, I'm just like, I know they're at rest.
Yeah.
Wherever that is. If it has to be across some, you know, fictitious rainbow bridge where they're meeting our other fellow dead animals, then fine.
Yeah, so I really think that's what it is, because, you know, for me, it's like, first of all, if I had the room, I'd have way more pets. I freaking love animals. And I think a lot of it is because we didn't have a whole lot when we were growing up. And so the idea of having them, I did put my foot down on the hamster lizard situation. I didn't want rodents or
anything in the rodent, amphibian, reptile family.
I can't do it.
I kind of wanted a little gecko, but you know what? If that thing ever jumped on my face, it would be
Paula. Dead. No, there's too much germs.
I hear I would never want one, but I hear bearded dragons make really good pets.
Okay, I don't care. I don't care. I'm never. You know, our niece had one and loved it, but it didn't have a great ending. But in general,
it didn't. What happened to it?
It died.
Well, Jamie, that's how everybody ends.
I don't think. No.
I mean, I thought you meant like, you know, something horrific happened to it, like the way it died. You're like, it died. I'm like, well, everyone dies. God.
Well, I think it. Okay, one of two things happened.
You're like, well, it didn't have a great ending. What did it? It went to hell.
No, I believe it either escaped and it was killed, or it wasn't cared for properly and it died. I cannot remember. I think our sister ended up having to care for it though, because Lauren left.
I can't believe Stephanie would take care of a bearded dragon. That I would pay money to see.
Not only that, but she had to take care of her daughter's birds. She had birds, and I was like, "What are you doing over there in that zoo?" She's like, "It's Lauren's," and I'm like, "Why do you have it?
Why?" Like, birds are. I like the idea of like, the birds that talk and stuff.
Nope.
But I would never want to care for one.
Paula, they're
especially
awful.
Because some of those, like, they get all stressed out and they like pluck their own feathers and they literally look like, you know, like raw meat.
They're like trichotillomania.
That talks. It looks like a Cornish game hen, and then suddenly it moves, and it's just like, Rah!
It's like they're walking. Like,
oh my God!
They're literally
my worst nightmare.
They're walking.
They're talking to me.
They're walking mental health issues. I mean, the epitome. It's like
it's literally a raw nerve.
In fact, it could be the perfect mascot. Would be a half feathered parakeet for mental health. Like, this is Seriously. What trichotillomania looks like. This is OCD, anxiety, all of it right here in this bird.
Welcome to Sierra Gardens. This is Oliver. Fuck you! No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, really. That's
Fuck
the bird.
you. We love you.
But I love you. Never. Come here, baby. Come here. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say it. Yeah.
It reminds me of one of those Asian restaurants where they like, serve your food and all of a sudden, like, you know, your fish comes out of the bowl and like, you know, walks off or something like that.
Have you seen those?
They're like, it's so fresh, and then like your steak gets up and like, you know, walks out. Or have you seen that video where someone's like making ribs and like, I think it's like called Strange Things Happening, and like this woman's making a rib and it like inches itself off the plate and like walks down the hallway or something.
A rib?
It looks like it. It could be a Photoshop thing, but it kind of reminds me of like the letters on Sesame Street, like the I's or the O's. And they kind of like scrunch along like a worm.
Oh my God.
This rib flops off the counter and it starts moving.
Okay, that can't possibly be real. I would
hope not.
I would think we would have heard about that. But I've seen those
the pages
dinners
got wet and they ran together, so I had to make up with my own creation.
No,
it's got raisins in it.
I have seen those ones where they're in super elite high end restaurants where people get bowls of living squid. And they're like flopping around. Their little tentacles are whopping around in the bowl and stuff. I don't know how or why they would do that. I think
laughing because I saw a video one time where this girl attempted to put like an octopus by her face. And then it started to suction cup, and those suction cups are really hard. Yeah. And it suction cupped one of its things to her eyelid, and she's like, ah!
Paula.
And it hurt really bad.
Well,
and once she got it off her face, she had like all these red circles all over her face.
Idiot.
I gotta find that video.
Send it to me.
But
I want to
anyways.
see it. That's horrifying.
It was, well, people do stupid things, and I'm like, you deserve that, you idiots.
Completely deserve it. Oh, Daryl and I were watching a show. Well, he was watching a show. He occasionally will watch these fishing shows, but this one was called, like, I don't even remember what it was called, but they were in the Amazon fishing in this canoe, and it was these 3 dudes. They kept fishing for these types of fish. When you pull them out of the water, they're really big, like probably like a trout or like a salmon. But what's scary about them is they have super duper sharp piranha teeth, except for their 2 bottom teeth are like 2 inches long fangs. And they were fishing for them. They weren't even going to eat them. They just wanted to fish and catch it, look at it, and then put it back.
Okay.
Well, they got this really big one. And they're like, oh, this is so great. So they're putting it back in the water, kind of, you know how you have to kind of like massage a fish to make sure it's not going to die or whatever. So he's holding it by the tail. And the dude had his foot in the water, like hanging over the side of the boat. And I'm just like, you know, he can take his foot out of the water at any moment, and that would make me far more comfortable.
If you dangle your hand in the water, like freaking fish will come up and bite your whole arm thinking it's bait.
Yeah, and he had his foot in the water, and I'm just like, and they're letting this 2-foot long fish with fangs out, and it's right by him, and I'm like, why isn't he
amputated?
Why?
See, people deserve shit like that when they do stupid things.
And
I don't feel bad for them.
And I'm in the kitchen and I'm watching this going, why isn't he getting his limb out of the water? That thing is going to bite him. And then Daryl finally...
me, I'd be sitting there. I'd be like, I hope he keeps it in there. I hope it stays there.
So finally Daryl turns to me. He goes, did you see that? He didn't take his leg out of the water? Like, wasn't that terrifying? I'm like, yes, what are you watching? Why are you watching this horrible show? He's like, I don't know.
Did it cut out after like they dropped the fish back in?
He lifted his limb out after they let the fish go. And
He's like, did you see that? Why didn't he lift his leg? And I'm like, I'm pissed off that he did. I wanted to see what happened.
I was looking for an impalement. I don't understand. This is a boring show.
I can't wait for Shark Week. No, I'm just kidding.
Shark Week has come and gone already.
Exactly. That's what I meant.
Yes, I know. Anyway, well, that's our segment. So the other day, Daryl and I were talking about something, and I said, and I had been thinking about this for a while. I said, do you remember Natalie was probably 4 and she was outside and she was playing with something and she was kind of struggling. Like she was getting frustrated with something she was playing with. And under her breath, she goes, damn it. Like that. And it was hilarious because she's so little and she was frustrated. She's like, damn it. And I said, do you remember that? He goes, I do remember that. I go, it was so damn funny. I said, when we were kids, we weren't allowed to swear, obviously. Most people don't let their children swear.
No.
In the home. But at some point, and it's usually adulthood, where they might let a shit or a damn it fly and you don't really think anything of it because they're adults and you're just like, whatever. Malia will not swear in front of us. She says nothing. One time she said shit in front of me and she almost said it under her breath and I didn't think anything of it. And I go, you know, it's okay because you're like 19 now, so I don't find you, I'm not going to get you in trouble if you say shit.
Yeah, I'm not going to be offended.
It's okay, you know. And she's like, I know, it just feels weird. I'm like, then don't do it. It's fine. I mean, it's a respect thing, so it's cool. But I said, but when we were kids, we weren't even allowed to say pretend swear words. Like we weren't allowed to say
the euphemisms, like freak or...
We couldn't say frickin' or friggin' or dag. Or even dang sometimes, depending on mom's mood.
Yeah, or shoot.
Well, we could say shoot, but it depends on how we were saying it. But like, I remember we would come up, like, we would try to, we didn't want to get caught flipping each other off, which we were really big on, flipping each other off.
So we did the pinky.
So we do the ring finger.
Oh, we did that. I thought we eventually just started doing the pinky.
Maybe.
Or mom used to get so mad at us. No, was it mom or Paul? We kept doing the orange juice symbol in sign language because it looks offensive if you do it like, you know, angrily. And mom's just like, stop doing that.
Like,
it's
orange juice. Yeah.
So she's like, well, it looks offensive.
I do remember the orange juice. Yes, you're right. It does look offensive, but we did it anyway. But I was telling him, like, yeah, I remember we tried to come up with other words and mom be like, don't you say that. We're like, why? She goes, because I know what the intention is. And we're like, well, then why don't we just say the attention. And then and I was laughing about it. I said, what's hilarious is that we were sailors, man. We had the filthiest mouths at a very young age, and we just did not care. We were wild. We didn't care. Nothing stopped us. And in fact, I remember one time, I think Stephanie and I were in our room and it was bedtime, and we like literally were just uttering every swear word we could think of whisper it, because we felt like volcanoes, and we felt like we were just going to explode if we didn't say all the bad words. Trying to censor ourselves all the time. me
as a young child, I think I literally had a piece of like note paper, and I listed every butt name I could come up with. And like, butt lick, butthole, butt face, butt
Enough
nose,
with the butt! Enough with the butt!
Butt whiff. And Stephanie and I, like, we sat there for hours, like trying to come up with,
all the butt words.
And we'd like look at everything. We're like, butt carpet? No, that is really
butt munch.
Butt hair,
butthole.
Okay,
butt. Yeah,
I never said butt munch. I never said butt munch because I knew that was crossing a line.
Oh, was it?
Because if mom heard me say butt munch, she'd be like, "Oh, Marie, do you know what that means?" No.
I'm all, do you?
Then I thought it was a cereal. Yes.
Well, it is kind of, but still.
Well, who would eat a cereal called butt munch, Paula?
Well, we would.
It's a cereal made out of little butts.
Oh God, they'd be shaped like butts. That would be a very popular cereal. We should probably invent that. Yeah. That would be a very popular cereal in today's day.
It comes in vanilla or chocolate.
The strawberry is not very good.
Oh God, wouldn't it be funny if the vanilla had like a chocolate filling?
Oh,
like that cereal. The kids used to love it. It was called Crave. It was these little squares, and they had chocolate centers.
Wonder why it was called Crave.
I don't know, because they craved it. I don't know.
Chocolate. That's a weird thing. That's a weird name for a cereal.
You know what? I don't make these things.
I know you don't. Anyway, so we were thinking about firsts, and you had told me last night about a first that happened in your house, and I was like, yeah, how many firsts are there? There's first sleepovers, first boy-girl party, first date, first dance, blah, blah, blah. And so you... If I am not mistaken, Olivia...
Well, so you were asking me, because you said, so when did your kids all officially start swearing? Like,
or when are they... First of all, no one's allowed... Under a certain age, that's... they get in trouble. But at some point, you start letting it go. Mm-hmm. Not the F word or cunt or anything like that, but the average, the ass, the damn, the shit, maybe occasionally after 10.
See, I think I would really struggle with the F word.
The F word is a hardcore one. Yeah.
Like the only way I would ever allow it is if they were like super emotional or mad, and they were like describing like a very difficult, like dangerous situation they were in.
Yeah.
And, or if they were repeating something, like they were in an argument or a fight with like another girl, like if it was just like, I told that fucking cunt, piss off, or something like that. Like I could see that. But, any other normal, just, conversation,
regular day,
how that would come out.
Sure.
So they were over like the age of 18, you're thinking?
Well, for my kids, first of all, when they were super athletic, and profanity is pretty common in sports, and so it's almost like it just kind of naturally occurs. I would say high school. I'd say by their sophomore year, they could say ass, damn, crap, shit, and it didn't really, there was nothing really to it. But they never, the only time I ever heard them using the F word would be if they, like you said, super emotional, or if there was some kind of confrontation that they were mad about and they were telling me about it, but they never swore at me. It was always like, whatever. But
right.
Yeah.
So at my house, I have the mouth of a sailor.
Yeah,
and so
me too.
My kids think it's hilarious, actually. The things that I say. Victor doesn't really swear at all. Mm-hmm. My kids wouldn't dare say a word, and Ryan, I know, swears when he's with his friends.
Yeah,
but who doesn't? What teenager doesn't?
No, yeah.
Olivia would rather be caught dead than saying a swear word. But the funny thing is she's the one that's actually said fucking shit, but it was by accident. So one time she was in the car with her dad, Ryan, and then she was in the back seat. And Ryan said, "Oh, Frozen 2 is on Disney Plus." And she went to say, "It is." And then she's like, and she said, "Oh, shit." And instead, Victor turned around and looked at her in the back seat, and she already had her hand over her mouth, and her eyes were as big as dinner plates. And she's like, "I meant to say, oh, it is." And somehow it came out, "Oh, shit." Aww. So now, like, sometimes when they describe saying, Ryan's like, "Oh, Frozen 2." You know, like,
yeah.
Because that means shit now.
That's really
and then,
cute.
or if it's like real bad, he's like, "That's a Frozen 1." And so,
that's
you know,
hilarious.
they joke. And then the other time, she was trying to say like something like it was a conglomerate of words, and it accidentally came out fucked or something like that.
Oops.
You know, it was like far up or something like that.
Oh,
or
yeah,
whatever.
that's not the
and it came
same.
out fuck. Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. She said two words, but she didn't mean them because
Right. So that's just an accident.
her
It was
mind
an
got confused.
accident.
Just like I said fart really loud at the store the other day because I was reading the sign where it says "stay 6 feet apart," and I said "stay 6 feet apart," and then I was just like, "Oh my god, I said that so loud."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You really should." So, I don't know at what age I'll be cool with it. I don't know if I'll ever really be cool with it, to be perfectly honest, just because I still see them as so young.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though. I never swear in front of our parents.
I do.
Like, I don't.
What's funny, well, because Mom she'll be like, "You know what, that asshole." She'll whisper it. Like,
She's like Biloxi Blues. Like,
Yeah.
well, he had cancer.
yeah, exactly. She falls under that guise of, if I whisper it, it doesn't count. She'll be like, "Well,
Exactly.
she was being kind of a bitch." And I'm like,
Right.
And then
Well,
now,
she'll even look around. She's like, "Well, she was being kind of a bitch."
well, now
You know,
what
she'll
I'll
kinda-
do
she'll kinda
is
do the
I'll go,
eye to
"Oh, was
eye."
she?" And I'll go, "Oh, was she being a total bitch, Mom?" And she'd be like, "Yes."
She's like, "Yes, Jamie, she was."
Yes, Jamie
So-
Lynn. Yes, Jamie Lynn.
And so I really wouldn't ever say a swear word in front of Mom,
Right.
Just because her neck gets red, and she
Right.
just she acts like she can handle it, but she just can't.
She doesn't want to
And
hear
so-
swearing from her daughters.
Well, it just makes her puckered, and that it'll take a long time to undo that process.
That is true.
So, and she'll think about it the rest of the day.
Yeah, and if you're lucky, you'll get I was thinking about what you said. And she's like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'll get
not-
a text. Well, one time I'll never forget. I think I was 16 and we were going to like McDonald's or something. I don't even know why. And I got out of the car. We were parked right by the gutter, and I'm like, "Oh my, it smells like piss over here." And Mom's just like, "Paula Marie, I didn't know you swore." And I'm just like, "Is piss a swear word?"
Oh,
I
God.
didn't think it was. And
Yeah.
she's like, "Wow." She's like, "I really didn't know that about you." And I'm just like,
About what?
and so in my mind, I'm thinking, for fuck's sake, like.
Yeah,
You
no
know?
kidding.
I'm like, because I said piss? I didn't even know that was a swear word. I was just
didn't
saying,
either.
I should have said, "Oh, it smells like urine over here." I mean, it's just like, geez. So, and then Victor, he doesn't swear in front of his parents either.
Right.
He says sometimes he'll say like shit or damn, but that's the extent of it. So,
Right. Well, it's definitely, I was mostly curious. Yours are still a little young, but I was just mostly curious if you've encountered yet the comfort level of them saying something like pissed or shit or damn it or something like that. But I don't think you're there yet.
So here's something really funny. There was this UFC fight with Brock Lesnar, and he was fighting Frank Mir.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, he beat Frank Mir, and Brock Lesnar goes into this monologue where he's like, "Frank Mir had a horseshoe up his ass. I told him that a year ago. I pulled that horseshoe out of his ass, and I beat him over the head with it." He's like, "I pulled that horseshoe out of that son of a bitch, and I beat him over the head of it. Woo!" And so, anyways, Ryan does it so good. And every time he does it, it makes me laugh. But he says, he's all, "I pulled that." He's like, "I pulled that out of that. I pulled that son of a gun out of his butt, and I beat him over the head with it." So he won't say the
He
swear
won't
word.
say ass.
And so I said, "Ryan, I want you to go in your room. I want you to do the full thing with all the language.
Please.
The actual language. Because I said, I need to have that recorded somewhere. Because I'm like, one day you're going to grow up. It won't sound the same. And I have to have it.
Please.
And he's like, and so he verified like 5 times. He's like, you're sure not. You're
oh my God.
Sure. And I'm like, only if you're comfortable. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. He's like, no, I want to do it.
It's a 3-letter word.
He went in the room. My phone rang. And then it went to voicemail. And then like 5 seconds later, my phone rang again. And then it went to voicemail. And
did he do it on your phone?
He came out of his room and he's like, I can't do it. And I'm like, why? And he's just like, I keep laughing. So
well,
I never got it. But I'm like, dang it, Ryan. I'm like, I really want that.
Well, give him a minute. He'll figure it out as he gets older.
But I don't know if he was laughing because it's so funny or he was laughing because he was like excited that he was going to get to say, you know, ass and son of a bitch. I don't know,
maybe. So on that note, you're going to tell me about Olivia getting her first phone, and I was trying to remember when we gave the kids their first cell phone, and for everybody it was junior high. That was the rule.
Okay.
7th grade, and then Natalie, Daryl's daughter, she got a phone earlier because her mom. And, you know, they were sharing, you know, she was going from one house to the other. Yeah, so it did make sense, you know, in that custody. Sense. But, and then anyway, so it seemed to the older kids that the younger kids were getting them younger and younger. And I'm like, no, you just don't remember. It was middle school. And so anyway. Well,
so here's the thing is, you know, that was basically our rule too, is that middle school was probably an appropriate time. But a lot of the reasons why Ryan got his phone in 6th grade and Olivia's getting her phone now is more or less based on upgrades. And when we did the upgrade, we were able to get better phones if we added a line. Mm-hmm. So when we did that, we had an extra phone line. And so we're like, well, we might as well just give Ryan a phone now. I mean, he's only 1 year away from junior high school.
Right.
And so that's why we gave him the phone then. And so now Verizon was offering a deal because Victor was up for an upgrade. And so Verizon was offering a deal, get the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 and buy one, get one free. Mm-hmm. And so we're both going to get that, but it says you have to add a line. And so we're just like, okay, well, if we add the line, it makes sense to give Olivia a phone.
Right. So you told her?
So we told them last night. And then, so we still have 2 really good phones. And so I said, oldest gets to pick first. So Ryan picked my phone because mine's the newest. Olivia's going to get Victor's phone. And then I said, Olivia, I'm like, Daddy's phone is kind of big. I said, it's not going to fit in your pocket. So I think it's appropriate for you to get a purse. And I said, you need to, you know, you can't carry around your money wadded in your pocket anymore. I said, you need to have a wallet and you could put your glasses in there, maybe a little mirror. I said, you'll have your cell phone, your lip gloss. And she started bawling her eyes out.
Aww, was she so excited, so happy?
She was just so overwhelmed. She's like, I can't believe all these good things are happening tonight.
That's so cute.
She's like, I didn't expect this. And
that is so sweet.
Emotional. And Ryder was kind of looking like, what the hell's happening? You know? So then I showed him the video of the little girl that was in the living room crying. And the dad's just like, what's the matter? Why are you crying? And she's just like, ah! And then she's just like, he's like, what will make you better? And she's like, I don't know, maybe some music. Fraggle Rock has music.
Oh, I saw that video. It's
Remember?
So cute.
She's like, maybe a peanut butter and jelly, or you can surprise me. You know? And
yeah, she's so cute.
And then the dad turns the phone to him and he's like, women.
It's true. It doesn't take much. Music and food. We're good.
Yeah, so I told Ryan, I'm like, this is the difference between boys and girls. Yes. I'm like, girls are like this. Well,
we're emotional.
I said, girls are like this, and boys are like you.
Okay.
So he's like, I didn't cry when I got my cell phone. I'm like, well, that's because you're a boy.
I remember the first time I got a purse. I had this really cute leather saddlebag purse, which are actually in style, and I actually have one that I'll never get rid of. And
where did you get your first purse?
Goodwill.
Yeah. See. Mm-hmm. mom didn't allow anything. So
Right.
I wasn't allowed to have a purse. I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. Even I was allowed to wear like lip gloss. But our stepdad, he saw me wearing it and he asked me to make it less shiny.
What?
So
Okay, Sheldon Cooper.
he's just like, can you make your lip gloss like less shiny, please? And I'm like,
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I don't know, like maybe it
What
was
does
gonna
that
make
mean?
someone apparently it was going to make someone too sexually aroused, to see that shiny of a lip gloss, or it was going to make me look like a 30-year-old woman.
Okay.
As opposed to the 13-year-old I was.
Yeah, I
And
wasn't.
so-
I wasn't allowed to wear makeup until. I was allowed to wear makeup in 8th grade. I was allowed to have neutral toned eyeshadow and blush because we are very pale, and clear lip gloss. By the end of 8th grade, I looked like a whore.
Yeah.
I had on way too much makeup all around. I looked like a little clown. But I used to put it. Well, I would put it on at school, and then I would take it off before mom picked me up.
Yeah, so something happened. I'm guessing it was with all of us between. Well, Allison always looked pretty okay without makeup, and she still looks pretty okay without makeup.
Yeah,
I don't
she
know how
does.
she's able to pull it off.
I don't know. I hate it.
Even mom looks all right without makeup, so it must be something in their skin.
Yeah.
But something happened between 6th and 7th grade. I lost all pigment and I developed very dark circles. And so either it was a rough time but I still look that way. If I don't have makeup on, my lips disappear. I have no natural skin tone. It's just like a dead leaf. And
Yeah.
I have dark circles like I've been in a hole for 30 years.
I look exhausted. I look like a.
I look like Boo Radley.
I look like
Kill
a wrinkled.
Mockingbird.
I look like a wrinkled sheet. It's just I don't have wrinkles, but I just mean I look not. If I were to go out without eye makeup on, people would go, "Are you ill? Is everything all right with you?" Like
Everybody asks
I
me
don't
that.
look right for sure.
If I'm only wearing eyeliner and not mascara, people are like, "Are you okay? Are
Yeah.
you okay today?
Have you been crying?
Exactly. I'm like, no. I said I'm just a little tired. They're like, oh, it's like, I
Okay.
thought something might be wrong. And I usually just say that to indulge them. I
Yeah.
probably feel I'm like I'm actually having a really great day.
I feel
but,
great today, but okay.
Apparently, I look like shit, so that's all right. So
Yeah.
when that happened, I was so self-conscious about the way I looked. But Mom and Paul, being the dictators that they were, wouldn't allow me to wear anything because I don't know why. They
Yeah.
wanted me to walk around being ugly and sticking out like a teenage wart. And so
I literally couldn't even shave my legs till 8th grade.
I didn't even ask. I just did it.
I
Mom was so mad at me.
Someone called me a gorilla. And that's the day I shaved my legs.
I just did it in 5th grade once.
Oh,
and
that's
like
early.
a week or two later, Mom's just like, Paula Marie, did you shave your legs? I'm like, yeah.
I
And she's
did.
like, and she's just like, well, don't you think you should have asked me? And I'm like, why? And she's like, well, that's just one of those things. I'm like, sorry.
My
You
body,
know?
my choice, bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
And so, I had no remorse though. I think it was one of those things where I'm just like, well, she's either going to fight it or she isn't. Like how often does she look at my legs?
Yeah, well, she probably found hair.
What was she going to do? A leg hair check? You know? And-
no, she probably found hair in the sink, or not the sink, but in the shower. And she's like, what are these long errant hairs doing?
No, because we didn't share a bathroom at that time.
Yeah.
I think what happened was when girls get to a certain age, their leg hair becomes pretty apparent.
It's prevalent.
Especially if you're blonde. You kind of get that like
Well, you look like a
surfer-
little polar bear.
a surfer leg tan hair thing.
Glistening
and,
blonde hair, yes.
And it no longer looks like child hair.
No,
It's
it looks like-
it looks more like, I don't know, it's like fur or
Yes.
fuzz.
Yes.
And I'm like, this looks gross. And so I'm just like, I'm shaving it. And so I did.
Mom told me that I couldn't shave above the knee because only whores shaved up the thigh.
I still don't shave above the knee.
Oh God, I couldn't wait. I'm like, I'm shaving this shit all the way up to my waist if I feel like it. I did.
No. Well, every time I did that, I always broke out in these little pimples.
Yeah, little
And
red
so-
dots.
And plus, I'm just like, no one goes up there, and there's hardly anything there. In fact,
know.
I had a dream. Okay, I haven't shaved my legs on I can't even remember when.
Okay.
And so I had a dream, though, because I think I noticed them the other day. And I had a dream that I was sitting next to Victor and I put my legs straight out, like up, and he looked over at my legs and he's like, wow, he's all, your legs are really hairy. And I'm like, I put my legs down. I'm like, yeah, I haven't shaved for a while. And then, so we were talking yesterday and I'm like, did I stick my legs straight out and you looked at them and told me they were really hairy? He's like, no. So I was like, okay, well, so that must have been a dream.
That was
He's
a
like,
dream.
Yeah, I think so. And
God.
but I remember they're as long as they're going to be. And I remember trying to get them waxed once. And I went in and she's like, no, come back in 2 weeks when it's longer. I'm like, they're going to look the same in
This
2
is
weeks.
it.
I'm like, this is the best I got.
I can't make it grow.
And I'm like, and if this is how it's going to be every time I have to get them waxed, no, I'm not doing it.
That's dumb.
You know?
I'll just shave it. Just get Nair. Who cares?
But my first purse, back to that. My
Yes.
first purse came from Kmart. So Dad bought it for me.
Oh my God.
I know. And Dad bought me my first lipstick and blush.
He's like, you look
Well,
fugly.
he did. He had Wendy come with it. He's like, well, you just don't have any color and you need a little something.
No kidding. Well, there's a thing that happens with, I mean, in our family, I can't speak for all women, but there's a thing that happens in our family where we hit puberty and suddenly we become anemic. And so we look we look like hauntingly white. And there's, I mean, and we get pretty browny, like our skin gets pretty tan in the summer, but man, our face, we just look so pale. And so we need blush, we need lip, we need something. I don't know what that is or why that happens. It's a weird transformation that occurs. It is something I have sadly passed along to my other children, who I literally would buy the little CoverGirl blush makeup and say, take this.
The cheekers.
Take this cheeker and practice immediately. And I'm like, you're going to have to really work that brush and make it kind of full and fuzzy.
Yeah, because it's all flat. Otherwise, it'll look like you just have a pink
Stripe
on your cheek.
Yeah, you know, the Pat Benatar days are over. So get that thing fluffed up in your hand and start working on those cheeks. And
Actually, I bought Olivia a set of brushes. So when she actually starts wearing makeup, I'll buy her brushes. But
I am so, I mean, on one hand, I'm really happy for the next generation of young ladies and now gentlemen who know how to do makeup application. But when we were growing up, there was no YouTube, there was no tutorials, there was no brush kits unless you were, you know, a professional. And so you had to get what you could get. So you go to, you know.
How many times did we burn our eyes by lighting our eyeliner on fire just to try and like make it melt and like get a smeary look or something?
You know, you get a lighter and you light the tip of your red Maybelline black eyeliner, kohl liner, and you put the molten lava on your eyes.
And you're like, ow! I just burned the bottom of my lid or my eye.
You're like, my tear duct is swollen. You know, I mean,
you put on too much mascara and so you have like 5 lashes.
So you have spider legs. Yeah, it's like no one told us. And then, you know, let's not even get into the hair situation. But it's like,
or remember, we would buy like unfortunately, because we had to buy our own makeup. You know, once you get a job, mom's just like, well, not that you have a job, you can buy all your own things, including tampons or pads,
including
or
everything,
shampoo, conditioner, you know, like the essentials.
Yeah.
So we would buy inexpensive makeup, and remember, we would get crumble lip because our lips were literally allergic to the makeup.
Yes,
that we were purchasing.
Was so bad.
Our lips would get crumbly because the skin would shrivel on our mouths. So
like anuses.
We would have lipstick and we'd be like, oh, can I borrow this lipstick? No, don't use that one. It gives you crumble lip. We would say that all the time, remember?
Yes, I do. And then
we'll just throw it away. No, I need it just for a backup, just in case.
Just in case. We don't want to like, that's too good to just like, but
it's just like, it's practically a full tube, but if it gives you crumble lip, well, no, I have to have it.
I mean, maybe if we mix it with Bonnie Bell.
That one was like $1.99. So
and remember we would create our own concoctions. We would take that crumble lip and we would add Bonnie Bell or chapstick and try to make it work.
True.
Or we'd use it on
Vaseline.
We'd use it on our cheeks, whatever. Yeah. And I don't think
if you mix these two, it's not as bad, and it actually makes a really cool like magenta color. So
there you go. So now, of course, you know, all the girls and some of the guys look like freaking Hollywood starlets. You know, because
they don't have the ugly, awkward phase anymore.
They don't. It kind of pisses me off because it's like I keep seeing those little memes and they're just like, you know, kids today, this or that. And, you know, here I was waiting for the refrigerator door to close to see when it turns off. 13 is very different than it was when I was 13.
I remember starting 7th grade and I was pale. I almost kind of had like a pus-colored face, color.
Yes.
And
sallow.
No makeup.
They call that sallow.
My teeth were horrific because, I was missing some. I actually still had a baby tooth that I hadn't lost yet, so they weren't as bad yet.
Yeah. I
don't know what happened, but my nose grew times 20 from 6th grade to 7th grade. And so when I started school, everyone's just like, good God, like, what happened? And
you're like, I don't know.
I lost a chin, and
it all grew into your nose.
And I weighed all of 85 pounds, and
yes.
So I was sporting some hotness then. And then when I got my ID badge, a bubble had popped on my face. So
I remember that. So in fact, I still think we have that somewhere.
I told you, I scanned it, took a picture of it, and we posted it. So I was literally a hot mess. I don't even know how I had friends. Well,
it's no wonder you were so mean. Now.
I literally was a teenage wart.
What choice did you have but to be horribly mean? Or you were going to die. There was no other choice.
And of course I had to be, the awkward, like, oh, I don't celebrate holidays. And I had to give the blue brochure to every fucking teacher I had. And they just shoved it in a drawer with the other 100 that they had.
I know.
And I had to, I don't know, read a scripture or give a pamphlet to every student that had a grandparent die, saying like, there is hope for the future. And, I'm just like, please don't make me be this person. Why do you hate me?
Right? It's true. So enough of that. We're going to do some Ugly and Awkward Moments of the week. Ear, nose, and throat edition. I found these
okay.
and they're so funny. Okay, here's the first one. I was at a meeting and speaking in a roundtable discussion. I was trying really hard to make my point when my dentures came loose and fell out of my mouth.
Oh my God.
I covered this incident quickly by faking a bloody nose and excused myself from the discussion. The host of the table came to see if everything was okay and stated, it's happened to me too, but I was a keynote speaker, and she showed me her dentures and we both laughed.
Aw, that's cool.
I can't imagine having like your mouth, like your bridge come out in the middle of
Okay, you know what? If I had dentures, I would just get the fucking
the screws,
what are those things, like the pods or the what are those things called?
I don't know. Implants. Yeah, I know. It's horrifying. I can't.
Well, imagine. I'm not gonna lie, because remember I had the retainer for a while that had the fake teeth on there.
Yes.
And I was at work and one of them fell off.
Oh no!
I left work early and I went home and I was so upset. And so Victor glued it back on with super glue.
Yes.
But he glued it. The teeth were kind of on there at like a slight angle.
Well, yeah.
Your teeth aren't straight up and down.
So did you have a fang?
Curved. So he glued it on like it was a panel. And so it looked kind of straightish. And I was just like, so it's like, well, I guess it's okay. And he's like, do you want me to re-glue it? I'm like, what if you break it when you take it off? He's like, I won't break it. I'm like, no, just leave it.
Oh my God.
So
you just had a very prominent canine.
I think he was able to, he's like, no, I'll use acetone to get it off. And I'm like, is this okay to have all these chemicals and then put it in my mouth? I was just like, about the metal. And it was a very upsetting evening.
When, it's really funny. When the kids were doing swim team, this woman who was a little bit older than me, she came up to me in the middle of because swim meets are really chaotic, and I was the announcer so I had my own little area where I had the mic and all the stuff, and so people could come in and talk to me and say, hey, can you make an announcement about the snack bar or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So she came in and had this crazy look on her face. I'm like, what happened? And she's like, my tooth fell out. I'm like, excuse me? And she showed me, and she had all veneers, and she had teeth like no teeth, and her tooth literally fell out of her mouth, and it was like one of the front teeth.
Well,
and she looked like a hockey.
What does she want you to do about it?
What's that?
Does she want you to make an announcement? Excuse me, we're looking for a tooth here around the pool. If you happen to see a tooth, Please come see me at the booth.
She had the tooth, but she was embarrassed, and so she was hiding in the announcer's booth. And I was like, oh my God. And so here's the thing. I'm so terrible at things like this. So, me, I want to laugh.
You're like, Helen?
Yeah, and I'm like, Ellen? So I was like...
Rubber, then you find yourself singing...
Sorry, with the fringe on top and Fire. Yeah, exactly. So
it's my voice. You hate my voice. No, Helen's here. Helen?
It's like Harry. Hi, Harry. I know, that's a great scene. Anyway, no. So I said, well, what can you do? And she goes like, I don't know. I've called the dentist and they can't see me till Monday. And I was like, oh no, what are you going to do? And she's like, do you have any super glue? And I'm like, I do not. And she's like, all right. She went and bought super glue and super glued that fucker back in her mouth. And I said, aren't you worried about the poison? Like, that doesn't seem appropriate.
Well, this was a Saturday morning, right?
But she would rather have poison in her mouth than a front tooth missing. I don't blame her. I got to tell you.
I'm just saying, it's a whole day and a half. I mean, just don't go anywhere.
Well, we were at a swim meet. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. What is she going to do? I mean...
Don't talk. I mean, I get away with that, and my teeth are fine.
I know. I get it, though. Well,
just look at people like, don't talk to me, otherwise I'll fucking kill you.
Oh, please. My two front teeth are veneers, and when they shaved them down to put the veneers on, he's like, okay, well, your teeth will be ready in a couple of days. And I said, I'm sorry. You're sending me out with these little tiny nubs on my two front teeth? And he's like,
I had the same thing with my bridges. I looked like fucking, I don't know. I looked like a meth addict. I was like, ah,
So I said, I'm sorry, but I can't leave this place looking like this. So he put on fake ones. He created fake ones, temporaries, and sent me out because I was like, I'm not leaving like this.
Well, yeah, they gave me a temporary crown or a bridge because I'm just like, I'm an HR manager. I can't talk to people like this.
I can't go out looking like I have bunny
what
teeth.
What am I going to do? I'm like, what am I going to like, so today we're going to discuss the employee manual.
Yeah, it's like, I look like I have kitten teeth and this is inappropriate. I can't tell people, I can't fire someone looking like this.
I look like those children that have all silver caps on their teeth.
Oh, God.
That, you can tell they had rotten sugar in their mouths and
because they have Capri Sun every day of their lives.
Juice bottles in their mouth when they were infants.
I know. All right, here's the second one. This happened in therapy, and this person goes, "Well," I can always tell when it starts off. Whoever this is, I want to be their friend. By the way.
Anything that happens in therapy has to be hilarious.
It's always funny. By the way, when you go through therapy awkward moments, there's a lot of farting, like a lot on both parties.
I've never farted once in my therapist's
office. Well, of course not.
That's not an issue.
Yeah, but it was both. Anyway, all right, here we go. One time a booger flew out of my nose at an accelerated rate. I just kept talking like nothing happened. She noticed. I knew she noticed, but I ignored it. And then she giggled. I still pretend like nothing happened. It haunts me.
Okay. Well, why did it come out at such an accelerated rate? Obviously, it wasn't like a sneeze. Otherwise, she would have indicated I sneeze.
I don't know.
What are you doing that makes a booger fly out of your nose?
And a booger that's visible. Like, it's one thing for like liquid to come out, like if you were crying or something. But to have a honkin' booger cannon out of your nostril. First of all, it makes me a little nauseous. But
I wish she just would have, explained it a little further. Because
what more is there to explain? It came out of her nose.
No, how does a booger just come out of your nose at warp speed?
I don't know, but it did happen.
That doesn't make any sense. That just
time
bothers me. If I can't make sense of things, it annoys me.
I assume
now I'm going to have to look up what conditions would cause a booger to fly out of your nose at a fast speed.
At an accelerated rate. I assume that she was crying and had her mouth closed and did like one of those, those hiccupy cry things and, it came out of her nose instead of her mouth.
Or unless she was like blowing her nose into a tissue and did the side to side and like maybe a flap of the nostril got exposed and a booger flew out.
Haven't you ever tried to stifle a laugh and you snort out of your nose? The air snorts out of your nose. Like,
Jamie, I snort when I laugh. It doesn't matter.
I know,
what
but
I do.
forward snorting, like you're stifling a laugh and the laugh comes out of your nostrils.
I have done that, and then you feel like both nostrils squirt out snot, and then you like have to like wipe your nose really fast because you're like, oh my god, that's so embarrassing.
One time, Daryl and I were talking, and he did something like that, and a tiny liquid drop flung out of his nostril and landed on my shirt, and I don't know if he saw it or if he wanted to ignore it. But once that occurred, I could no longer focus on whatever he was saying, and so he
didn't
finished.
attempt to like grab it or wipe it or be like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry."
So I couldn't touch it, and it wasn't a significant. It was just like small, very tiny,
But
and so
it's still snot.
So it stopped. He stopped talking, and I said, "You blew snot on my shirt, and so I have no idea what you were just saying, but I need to deal with this situation." He's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I didn't even notice." I'm like, "I know exactly. I don't know how you didn't notice that."
You're like, okay, one, that's total bullshit. We both know you saw it.
He didn't look down. He didn't avert. He didn't change his eye range.
Why are we lying? Like, why lie?
I know.
We're both adults here.
Oh,
We've
dear
known each other
Lord.
for a long time.
I know.
when you're looking out of the corner of your eye. And I know you notice when things happen to my breasts. So
Right. And so I was just like, well, I have to remedy this situation immediately. And he's like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, he goes, "Gosh, I'm so sorry." And of course he wipes his nose. And I'm like, yeah. Well, too late for that. So anyway.
okay, so the first time I got married, the officiant, he was this super tall, big guy, like one of my favorite men ever in life.
Mm-hmm.
And he always talked a lot, but he kind of battled dry mouth a little bit.
Oh, God.
And sometimes people, when they battle dry mouth, their spit kind of gets foamy. And
Oh, yeah, in the corner of their mouths.
yeah, and so we were standing there. I was standing there talking to him with one other person one day, and a little piece of foam flew out of his mouth, and it landed on my left tit on my shirt.
No.
And it was kind of in slow motion because literally he's like 6'4", you know,
Yes.
he's really tall.
He's a very tall person.
And I'm 5'3", and so it was just like, it was kind of like a base jumping foam, and it jumped out of his mouth, and it was like, and it was slow mo, and it just like landed directly on the top like mound of my left tit. And I just kind of looked down, and I was wearing a navy blue sweater. So
Oh, no.
there was this big white foam thing, and then he kind of looked down, and he looked at me. He's like, sorry about that." And I'm like, "Oh, it's okay." And so
Right, it's just dry mouth, right?
I just put my hand and tucked it in my sleeve, and then just kind of brushed my boob off in front of everyone.
Oh, Jesus. What are you going to do?
Well, he kind of like, when he said sorry about that, he was not smirking, but it was kind of like a nervous smile, kind of
Yes.
like, yes, we all know that my mouth foam just landed on your breast.
What is he like? It's like horse mouth foam or something.
Well, and it's just kind of like, you know, we can't deny where it landed, and
It is
we
what
can't
it
deny
is.
that it was my mouth foam, and you're a young, petite, pretty girl, and well,
There it is.
my spittle just landed on your boob. So,
Yeah.
and we're in church. This is awkward.
Yes. So anyway, those are the Ugly and Awkward Moments of the week. I thought they were funny. I can't imagine rocketing on accident a booger in a therapist's office. And especially, what if it was some like really serious discussion, you know, about your trauma or something, and then a booger comes launching out of your schnoz? How do you recover? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Gosh.
I just don't think you could recover.
You know, that's the thing I hate about crying. It does cause nasal secretions.
Oh,
and that
yeah.
is bothersome. I really hate that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, tearing, and it's just like, why does everything have to get wet? Like,
I don't
what's
know.
the point of that? Why the wetness when you cry?
I know.
I mean, it has to serve some sort of purpose, but
I assume.
it just
I
is
assume.
annoying.
Anyway,
Anyways.
all right. Well,
everybody. Oh, go ahead.
what were you gonna say?
I was just going to tell everybody for joining us. Thanks, everybody. But remind them that this coming weekend is Labor Day.
It is actually Labor Day weekend.
It's not a premature ejaculate of Labor Day weekend.
Premature labor.
We are free to climax this weekend.
Please do.
It is Labor Day weekend. And so with that said, we are going to enjoy ourselves this weekend and take a little break and let you enjoy your weekend laboring daily. I'm not sure what everyone's going to do. I know here we really can't go outside without, feeling like we smoked a 10-pack.
I know. It's bad.
I don't even know where to go. I mean, the kids, they're really eager to get outside and go do something, but I'm like, guys, I don't even know where to go.
Well, you can go to Tahoe.
Everything's on freaking fire. I mean, yeah, but
there's a lot of pretty places that are out of the smoke. Just get out of the valley and you will find clear skies.
Yeah, I mean, I know trying to get to the beach is kind of out of the question because everything that direction is on fire.
No, you know what? Actually, I have some friends. They went to the beach near the Golden Gate Bridge, and it was beautiful. Completely clear.
Yeah, but I'm thinking everybody's probably going to try and go that way because
I don't know.
I don't know. Who knows what we'll do? Maybe we'll have a staycation.
There you go.
Is, no different than what we've been doing.
I know,
oh my gosh, we bought a chess set just quickly.
Yes,
I told you we bought a chess set. We have been having throwdown chess matches.
That's great.
Olivia knows how to play, and she's actually pretty good.
That doesn't surprise me.
I had to have a discussion with Victor and tell him, look, we're not doing this like we did with the Monopoly game. You're not playing them like he's fucking,
Bobby Fischer
or whatever that kid's name is. Olivia had a really good move where she was going to take out his queen. And so Victor had made his move. And so Olivia went to go make her move. And then he saw what she was going to do. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He's like, my move is not complete until I take my hand off the piece.
Ass. That's unacceptable.
He changed his move to prevent her from doing the move she was going to do. And I'm just like, really, Victor? I'm like, the 11-year-old? And so I got so pissed off at him. I'm like, you do the same shit when you're playing Monopoly.
It's really
act
bullshit.
like, it's some big accomplishment to beat them.
Yes.
And you're so fucking competitive, and I'm just like, God, I'm like, what's the joy in that?
You're like that?
Not to the kids.
Oh, okay. You don't want to teach them the game of life, Paula?
And so, I just told him, I'm like, forget the fact that you're having a good time with your child and possibly using a teachable moment of hey, that was a really good move. Good for you. No. You will not be bested and have your queen taken from you. You are determined to, beat her and win because, you're such a competitive asshole. And so I went by later and Olivia had his queen, and he's he's like, I undid the move. And I'm like, oh, big of you.
God, congratulations for not cheating out an 11-year-old.
But he was pouting, and I'm just like,
oh my God. Enough.
But he's so fucking competitive,
That doesn't sound competitive. That sounds like a sore loser.
He is a sore loser. I've told him that before. But every time a game ends, he insists on shaking everyone's hand. And I'm like, what do we need to get? One of those fucking timers where we slap the time when our time's over? I'm like, I don't even know what that's for.
I don't either.
But anyways, Ryan played once and he's just like, this is hard. He's like, I don't think I want to play again. And I'm like, you will finish this game. He's like, no, I'll finish the game. But I'm like, automatically I thought Allison. And I'm like, do not quit. Do not quit this game. Yeah. Because she would always be the one I don't want to play anymore. And we're like, Allison, we're halfway through.
God, she used to do that all the time.
God, it was so irritating.
It is irritating. She's like, she would rather quit than lose.
She'd be like, what? I'm not even winning. It's just it doesn't matter. It's a 4-player game.
That's right. Oh, God. That used to piss us off. I remember that.
All right. Well, everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you next Wednesday.